Let's talk about the D line a little bit. Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave combined for 11 total pressures. In fact, Hargrave and Bosa finished with the highest defensive grades for Pro Football Focus, 93 for Hargrave, 92.8 for Bosa. Armstead had a nice day as well. He had 3 pressures, but the guy I want to get your thoughts on is Javon Kinlaw because, Dave, I mean, it's been a hard slog for Javon Kinlaw to get some momentum going on his young career. But, Dave, he continues to play really, really well through 3 weeks. He had 4 pressures in this game last week against the Giants. He's active. He's finding the football. He's getting in the passing lanes. He's not a big stat filler, right? He's not going to sack the quarterback for the most part. He's not going to come firing off of blocks and make tons of tackles, but he's going to absorb blocks. And when I asked him about it, he kind of giggled. He kind of knows, that he's built to absorb bodies up front. But there's a leverage that he's playing with this year. There's a consistency. There's a motor. There's an intensity. I love what I'm seeing out of Javon Kinlaw. Give me your thoughts when you watch the All-22 on Kinlaw.
Well, first, just consider the path that Javon Kinlaw has taken ever since entering the NFL. He joins the 49ers in 2020. That's a really tough season to enter the NFL because there's no offseason program, right? So here's a guy who just had to show up at training camp week 1 and play, and that was his only healthy offseason. He hadn't had a healthy offseason until this most recent one because he suffered a severe knee injury to end the 2020 season against the Cowboys. And then I don't know if it was misdiagnosed or what happened, but he came back out there without surgery in 2021, but just after a few weeks, just couldn't do it. And then they realized that, oh boy, he needs ACL reconstruction. So he went under the knife for the ACL surgery in 2021. That meant that he wasn't healthy in the 2022 offseason. And that means that he wasn't healthy at all throughout 2022. He still had all the swelling in the knee, the fluid buildup, because ACL reconstruction, especially on a guy who's 6'7", 6'8", 330 pounds, that's a big deal. That's a tough surgery to come back from. So he was spending all of last season just trying to get away from the 8 ball, so to speak. Finally, he entered this 2023 offseason healthy, and he was in the 49ers facility the whole time. And what the totality of this story for Javon Kinlaw tells me is that this guy just doesn't give up. There were so many people that wrote him off, right? There was so many injury frustrations, setbacks. He was trying to play through a knee injury that, wasn't properly addressed with surgery until several months later. And he played several games in between the initial injury and when the surgery happened. I mean, so much went wrong for Javon Kinlaw, but this guy was still in the facility grinding day in, day out this offseason. So, I mean, the perseverance here should be really respected. And the fact that he's finally healthy, combined with the fact that he has been in that facility working his tail off for so long, I think finally the stars aligned for Javon Kinlaw. Because remember, this is a first-round talent. There's a reason why they picked him so high. Because, he, like you said, his ability to absorb blockers, his ability to manhandle people, that was on tape at South Carolina. And now it's finally on tape with the 49ers. I saw one of those performance charts the other day. X-axis was difficulty of assignment and Y-axis was productivity. So you want it to be further to the right and further up. Javon Kinlaw's dot was further to the right than almost any other NFL player, which means that he was handling so many double teams. He's been handling so many difficult situations, and his efficiency was still really positive. It was still in that upper right quadrant of the graph. So he's really, really delivering in the way I think the 49ers initially envisioned him to when they drafted him back in 2020. It's just taken several years because he hasn't been healthy until now. But you have to tip your cap because a lot of guys, even if they might have that potential, 4 years down the line, they're tapped out. The media has gotten to them, especially if they're a first-round pick. Just that the grind has gotten to them. It's tough to not be healthy, but Kinlaw hasn't given up, and that's where he's at right now.
Yeah, it's great to see, and he gives a lot of praise to Eric Armstead for helping him along. Armstead's like a big brother to him, he says.